Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with another Hearthstone StarCraft mini set card review. Should be the last one of the day. I think there's been so many reveals. Little tired, but that's okay because we have Zerg cards to go over with Hunter and some Zerg multi-class neutral cards to go over. So we're gonna review them. They look pretty aggressive, Zergy. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm gonna say it. I said it. It's Zergy. Anyways, if you want to win some of these Zergy cards, we have a giveaway going on for 3 mini sets out of my pocket. To enter the giveaway, like and comment in the video, link down description below. The one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribe to the channel, and every 1,000 subs we get until the mini set goes out next Tuesday, I will add another mini set to the giveaway. So hit that sub button. Make me go broke. So starting off, we got a couple Hunter cards to look at, but we'll start with the cards that all the Zerg classes can use. And the Zerg classes, I believe, are Hunter, Demon Hunter, Warlock, and Death Knight. So they're all gonna be swarming with Zergs. And the first card we have here is a spell, the Nidus Worm, a 3-mana spell. You draw 2 Zerg cards. They cost 1 less. We don't know the Zerg hero card yet. Kerrigan, I believe it's Kerrigan, not the Dwight Schrute version, but it will be Kerrigan. But yeah, that could be discounted. So any Zerg card, any card that has that Zerg faction on it, whether it's a spell, a minion, if there's a weapon, if there's a hero card, whatever, right? It can be discounted. And Arcane Intellect, the most, I swear, at this point, the most power crept card of all time. Like, it is so crazy. But yeah, it's just a good card you're gonna play in like every Zerg deck, because you're gonna fuel your Zerg draw. You're gonna get card draw, mana cheap. It's all good stuff. Like, why would you not play this in basically any Zerg deck? I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. This is like auto include. How good will Zerg decks be? No idea. I'm not psychic. I just make horrible review predictions on YouTube that for some reason you guys tune into, and I appreciate that. And yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5 in standard. Yeah, it's just like, again, you're playing a Zerg deck, you're playing this card, seems really solid in all 4 classes. 4 Zerg classes can utilize this to their heart's content, right? So 4 out of 5 in standard. And I feel like if anything is gonna work out in Wild, it's the aggressive thing. So maybe in Wild, this is like a 3-mana card if you're playing a Zerg deck in Wild. I'm not sold on like any of this stuff being good enough in Wild, but again, it's all power creep stuff on Wild, so maybe all this stuff will take over Wild. You never know. Like, I remember Galakron Shaman was like really solid in Wild when it launched way back in the day when it was like broken in standard. You played it in standard, you play the standard version in Wild, you could hit legend there, so you never know. But I'll give it a 4 in standard, I'll give it a 3 in Wild. Why the heck not? Because you also can draw this Zerg card, the Brood Queen. I love the art on that card. I think it's super rad. The Brood Queen is a 3-mana 2/5, and it has a passive effect, not a battle cry, not a death rattle. This is just a constant effect. At the end of your turn, get a larva that transforms into random Zerg minions. And what is that? It's this 1-mana 1/1 larva here. Each turn this is in your hand, transform into a random Zerg minion. So it's like a Shifter Zerus for Zergs, right? It's basically all it is. It can turn into any Zerg minion, including a Brood Queen, right? So yeah, it's just some value, and you can get who knows what. It could be good. And you know, if the Brood Queen, it's got 5 health with 3 mana, it doesn't die, well, you just keep getting more stuff. Is this something you're gonna hard run in your deck? I feel like Zerg isn't really gonna be that much about value and random shenanigans. I'm not sold on this. I'm not sold on this. These cards that turn into random things in your hand have rarely ever been worth it in Hearthstone. Actually, have they ever really been worth it? Pretty much almost not at all. Maybe this bucks that trend, and just because it's a Zerg minion, I really want it because Zerg minions have some upside, right? Possibly. So I'll give it a 2. I'm not super sold on this one. I'm gonna give 2 out of 5 in standard, a 1 in Wild, but hey, you never know. And again, in Wild, Zerg minions will just beat the mini set because again, it's completely restricted this mini set. We're not gonna see other Zerg cards in the future, at least unless they decide to do another StarCraft collaboration, which I doubt they'll do. Now moving on to strictly the Hunter cards. These are just for Hunter, starting off with the Evolution Chamber, a 2-mana spell. Give your minions +1 attack, which is pretty bad. not great. However, you give your Zerg an extra +1/+1. So if you have a full board of Zerg minions, they're getting +2/+1, right? That's pretty good for 2 mana. It reminds me of that twin spell for Druid that wasn't as good. So if you can get realistically a wide board of Zergs, which feels like with all the Zerg cards we're getting, like, you know, the one that creates a copy of itself, that's pretty good, right? For 2 mana, and you're going to be wanting to go wide and swarm the board with these cards, and I feel like, yeah, Hunter will probably utilize this pretty well. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in standard, 2 out of 5 in wild. Again, it's just so hard to evaluate for wild, but again, it's just something that not only gives you lethality with the attack boost, but a little bit of resiliency with that health, which is, you know, as we saw with the Ziliax Pylon module nerf, can really be a thing, right? Getting that extra health can absolutely be really helpful. And you know what? We need some Zerg minions to buff. What about a Roach? What about a 2 mana 2/2 Roach? When you draw this, you get a copy of it. And then it has Battle Cry. If you control another Zerg minion, gain +1/+2. So as long as you have another Zerg minion on the board, you're guaranteed to get a 2 mana 3/4. It's a totem golem with no overload. And you'll also have another one of these in your hand. So let's say you don't have anything to play, you could play 2 Roaches and get some stats on the board, and there are Zerg minions that can be buffed. And also, if this has been like deck buffed at any way, right? You draw it, it's a copy of it. So let's say, I don't know, somehow you buff the minions in your hand or in your deck by whatever, both copies of this will have that, which can absolutely be beneficial. And it's just a nice way of, again, swarming the board, getting minions out there. And again, the fact it has, you know, a higher health buff will help it stick around, get more buffs, have more Zerg minions constantly present on the board. And that's pretty good for an aggressive class like Hunter. And really is curious to see what this hero card is going to be like to help these Zerg minions, because it's 7 mana. Pretty expensive for what looks to be a pretty oppressive, or not oppressive, but cheap and aggressive. There we go. Aggressive archetype. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It's a lot of value for 2 mana with a lot of good upside on top of that. Although it will feel bad just to play a 2 mana 2/2. That would feel pretty bad, but I feel like that shouldn't be too big an issue with all these cards coming up. And again, I believe if you draw it with that spell and it's 1 less, then both Roaches will be 1 mana, which is also be pretty darn good too, right? So yeah. Well, I don't remember if I rated it. Did I rate it? I don't know. I'll give it a 4. Did I say a 4? I have no idea. So it's been a long day. I'll just say a 4 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in wild. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully, I think for the day. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the cards in the comments down below. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.